Hey guys, welcome back to Yosemite. So I was here 2 weeks ago and it was so nice. It was really warm and I saw bears and it was amazing. And I've come here today and it's freezing cold. There's been so much snow over the last couple of weeks, but nothing like crazy, but the snowpack was really light for the average for the year. And it's recovered to over 90% here in the Sierra. So it's very nice for California to get the water, so I'm very happy, but it's kind of like a regression from the hiking conditions I had a couple of weeks ago. So today I've decided to hike the Mist Trail. If you visit Yosemite in winter, if you don't already know, it's kind of restrictive as to like where you can go. Predominantly the valley is the best place to go hiking, but when it's been snowing, a lot of the trails are still closed, and some of the ones that go up to the outside, to the rim of the valley, are inaccessible. So I just did Upper Yosemite Falls on my last visit. So today I'm going to tackle the Mist Trail and show you what it's like to hike it in winter. So I parked at the Curry Village trailhead and now I'm walking along the Valley Loop Trail to the Happy Hours trailhead, which is where the trail begins. So if you park where I parked, you'll see the tents just there, and you can see just an idea of the snow. It's nothing crazy, like the path is completely clear, but they've had snow. I also saw 3 coyotes in the meadow this morning, which I'll insert here now for you to see, which was pretty cool. They were hunting for mice and voles. There's Half Dome, as seen from the trail. I always forget that this parking lot is even here, but you can come down from Curry Village to park here, but it's only like not even half a mile. So this is Happy Hours. This is the bus stop where you can catch the bus back to the main village or to Curry Village. A lot of people in the summer, when you come in, it's just easier to park in the big car park at Yosemite Village, and then you can take the shuttle here. I just did the short walk, but it runs all year round, the shuttle, so you can definitely do that. There are restrooms here with running water, which is the last ones I think with running water. It's just pit toilets after this. The nature centre is up there, and then just across this bridge is going to be the trailhead for the Mist Trail. There is the reality of coming to Yosemite in winter conditions. The Mist Trail appears to be closed, so I have to take the JNT up there. So basically this happens like most years when the steps, which are so slick and so wet, have ice form. They become like even more dangerous than they are in the peak summer. So instead of being like really wet and slippery, they're now icy and slippery, and it's very steep as well. So it sounds like I'll have to take the JMT up to Clark Point, but it's a great hike. You can still see all of the waterfalls. You wouldn't want to get soaking wet with mist when it's cold like this anyway. So yeah, I'll show you what it's all about. So far the conditions aren't too bad though on the trail. Like, it's still really easy to see the trail. There's just little patches of ice. The snow was a couple of days ago now, so it's definitely eased off. And there's the famous High Sierra Loop trail sign. So when I did the JMT, I see this every time we do this video, but you had a picture pointing to the mileage. But yeah, I don't know how far I'll get today. Vernal Fall is just 1.5 miles to the top, and it's 0.8 miles to the viewpoint on the bridge. But Nevada Falls is 3.4. I'd love to make it, but let's see how we go. So there are lots of open sections like this, and because the sun comes through in the afternoon, this section of the trail does tend to melt out the quickest. So there'll always be patches where you don't need to worry too much about ice and snow. But it's uphill the whole way, so you can probably hear I'm out of breath. I'm super warm now with all these layers on. So at some point I will lay down a little bit. But it's at this point that you get the first view of upper Yosemite Falls, and you can just see it pouring over the cliff there. Now, I hiked that just a couple of weeks ago and there was hardly any snow, so it's crazy that it's changed so much. And you can see down into the canyon. And this is the Merced River. And just here you can see another major waterfall in Yosemite. That's Illilouette Falls, and you can actually hike across Illilouette Creek just ahead of the falls when you take the panorama trail from Glacier Point, and then it will go right over this ridge and then down the mist trail. The trail up to the footbridge wasn't too bad. It took me 25 minutes and I haven't put my spikes on yet. The trail's definitely getting a little bit more muddy and a little bit more icy, so I definitely feel like I probably will end up putting my spikes on at some point today. But I wouldn't say, you know, maybe if there's no more snow in maybe a week, this will all have melted out. So it's just one of those things with this trail. The conditions change so quickly, so it's really hard to gauge it. And I mentioned before that I use all trails to see, you know, what people's recent experiences are on trails. and it does really help. But somebody that hiked the trail 4 days ago might have had a completely different experience, because 4 days in the mountain weather, in California especially, is a long time. So you can see the trail's a lot more icy as it gets closer to Vernal Falls, but it's very, very, very pretty. So as expected, I've got to the gate here, which is the final section up to the top of Vernal Falls, and it's literally just beyond where I can see that these steps start, and it gets super, super steep. As I said, very slippy in the summer when all of the water is on the trail from the mist from Vernal Falls, which is hence the name Mist Trail. So there's that, and then on top of that, you've also got to factor in that with all that ice and the steep runoffs as well, like it's a sheer drop if you fall and slip, and then it's into that ice cold water. So the rangers have closed it for safety. And what's this message say? I actually can't even understand that. We went happy something, whatever. But yeah, so that's the situation over here. So the alternative to taking this part of the trail is to take the John Muir Trail. Now it's a little bit more of a hike, it's a lot steeper, and it's switchbacks. So there's actually some information. Obviously the 4 mile trail is closed, you can't get up to Glacier Point, so I'm guessing I can go probably as far as Clark Point, but it's going to be just up here in the switchbacks. Now if I want to get to Nevada Fall, it's going to be 2.4 miles. I'm going to try and get there, but with these conditions, who knows what will happen. So yeah, onwards and upwards. So looking at the trail, it's going to be, I think it's safe to say it's going to be icy the whole way, because this section of the trail, as I said, it's switchbacks and it's kind of in forest as well. And I mean I can walk on this snow, but I'm actually going really slow because I'm watching my steps. So I think I'm going to do the sensible thing and pop on my spikes and see how I go. If I find that I'm not really using them, then obviously I can always take them off, but I'd rather get a bit more speed to get up there. So definitely worth considering taking spikes and hiking poles in the winter conditions. I've got poles with me and I will probably use them coming down, but I'm not going to use them going up because it's just a pain in the ass holding the GoPro and stuff. So yeah, the things I do for you guys on that subject, if you are enjoying the video, please give it a like and hit subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. So thank you so much. It's quite amazing looking up there. So Glacier Point is up here, and this is the Panorama Trail, and it's so snowy up there. It's so nice to see. As for the trail, you can see the conditions and the switchbacks that go up. Now there's definitely people that will tell you that spikes are kind of unnecessary, but I do think it just makes my journey more seamless, because otherwise it's constantly stopping to like find your footing and steady yourself, whereas with spikes you just hike like normal, I guess. The only thing that's a bit annoying is the sections like where I am now, which are icy, and then all of a sudden it goes to like no ice, and obviously that's going to damage my spikes over time because they're going to blunt. I get new ones every couple of years, I guess, anyway. Yeah, so far there was people on the, there was like 3 people that were on the mist trail up to the bridge, but I've not seen them or anyone else since. So it definitely feels like I'm up here alone in the snow, which is nice because again these trails get really packed. The JMT is always a lot quieter than the actual mist trail section where the steps are, which is good. So it's nice that this section is just a little bit more subdued. But yeah, up I go. Oh wow, look at that shot. That's Upper Yosemite Falls and Lower Yosemite Falls, and you can see some of the valley with blue skies above the snow. Absolutely gorgeous. So you can see the trail behind me is now thick in snow, and look at the drifts on the side here. Now it is starting to open up a lot, like I've climbed out of the forest somewhat, so hopefully it won't be too long until I start to see some views of the falls up at Clark Point. It's really cool to see like the little prints in the snow, wondering what animals are up here, or wondering what you don't want to see up here. But you can see, I think that's Basket Dome, but I might be wrong actually. I always get a bit confused in this section. I'm not far from the top, but it's definitely a workout in this ice. One thing I would say is it definitely feels like packed ice. Snowshoes would be useless. Spikes all the way. There's a sign I'm getting closer. So from here, the switchbacks are pretty tight, and then it's a bit easier. So nearly there. Oh, the views just keep getting better. That's Glacier Point beyond there, and the panorama, as I said earlier. So nice to see it with the dust and the snow. And as you can see, the trail is so snowy. Look how deep someone's post holed. And just for scale, I can't even touch the bottom. But I'm not far now. Do you know, there's just one thing I love about Yosemite. Well, lots that I love about Yosemite. This corner is really tight. Hang on. And that is just how unique each visit is. Like, you know, if you watch my channel, I do come here quite a lot. Maybe too often, some would say, but I'm here pretty much every month, sometimes multiple times in a month. And every visit just feels different to the last, whether that's the bugs, the heat, the snow, the rain sometimes, the hikes, the trails. There's just so much going on here, and of course the wildlife encounters as well. And I've been super lucky this year with wildlife, so yeah. But this is a workout. I definitely think if you have kids, this might be a bit too much because the ice is thick and you do need a little bit of know-how to get up here. But I do promise you it's going to be worth it, so just bear with me, we're nearly there. And I'll show you the views at the top. I've got the last few switchbacks to go. I'm looking forward to having a salty snack when I get to the top, and some water, that's for sure. So it's trail poop time. Now, there looks to be some fur in that poop. Doesn't look like it's just grass. I don't hear anything, but anybody hazard a guess on the poop? Example of size. Oh my god, there is sunlight out of the shadows. So I've made it here to Clark Point. It took me an hour and a half exactly to get up here, which isn't bad considering that it's obviously icy. I had to stop to put my chains on, and that always takes me ages. So I'm quite pleased with that. The sun is out, the snow is incredible. I've actually never been up here when there's been snow like this before, so it's really, really cool to see. Now, this is where the John Muir Trail carries on. So it's 1.2 miles up to Nevada Falls from here, 5.9 to Half Dome, and 6 to Glacier Point. So I often come down this way when I've been up and done the Panorama Trail, but it's actually closed because there's a high risk of rockfall on these steep slopes. So, you know, just respect the signs. The rangers put them there obviously for your safety, and then if you go and get yourself into trouble and then you have to get search and rescue out, you're putting other people in danger. So just bear that in mind. Like, it's not worth the risk. There'll be plenty of times to come back and experience it when it's all open. So that's the vibe right now. I think we know whose prints these are. What's weird is they don't end anywhere. Must be going down the trail. So I've been spotting some bear prints up here. Now I saw 2 bears last week. If you haven't watched the video already, check it out. But there were some prints that I've just put some photos in of prints, and they were just over in this section. But I can actually see bear prints now heading down. But again, they kind of just stop. Like, I don't know where the bears went. It's like they kind of wandered so far and they must have backtracked, or it snowed on top of where the prints were, because I don't see them now. But yeah, just just goes to show you're never alone. So you can see just on here, this is Clark Point. So I've basically done all of this already. So it's a fair hike, but the mist trail section is here, which is where you're going to find the steps, and then obviously you go up switchbacks over here, which is going to take you up to Nevada Falls. But obviously that section is not open right now due to the rock slide. And then obviously up here as well, I can't say the JMT because that's also closed. But it just gives you an indication of like where you can get to. Hopefully that helps you out. Is the incredible view up here at Clark Point. You can see Basket Dome, you can see Sub Dome, and you can see Nevada Falls. It's super snowy. It's ice, it's like packed ice. There are animal prints everywhere. I've seen poo on the trail. It's just so peaceful. There's nobody up here. I can't quite believe it. But the trail's closed from this point onwards. So if you are looking to do the mist trail in winter, you definitely can as it thaws and as these conditions fade away, because the thing with Yosemite is it's not like this all the time. It's going to come and it's going to go, depending on how the snow has been in recent weeks and stuff. So if we have, it looks like it's going to be some mild weather now over the next week, and then we're going to be in April when you tend to get things like sleet and snow that lasts for like a day. So from that point you'll probably find that the trail will start to open up and you'll be able to do different sections to complete the whole trail. But if you are coming in winter and you want to hike the mist trail, worst case scenario, this is what the situation is going to be. So hopefully that will give you a bit of an insight of what it's like when you come at that point. Now, I hiked this trail in, I think it was April or May last year, and did a video on the snow melt. So that was what it was like when the snow was melting at its peak and the water was flowing at its peak. So definitely check that one out, because that's going to be more appropriate if you're visiting a little bit later in the season, potentially in May or early June. So definitely check that video out. I'll put the link in the description below. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Obviously, if I see anything on the way down, of course I'll take you along with me. But for now, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. There's loads more content from Yosemite coming this summer, and I'll see you again soon. There's been some folks passing me on the trail coming up, and they're really struggling with the ice, and I'm like whizzing by in my spikes, and they were like, "Ah, oh, that guy's got spikes." So yeah, it's definitely picked up a little bit later in the day. But what I was going to say is it just shows how much easier the hike has been for me by having the spikes compared to people that are trying to do it without. So I definitely would recommend investing in a pair. I'm going to put in the description the ones I got from REI. It's not an ad or anything like that, but they were good value. And